Hi, all. I want to talk to you about your RTI case study for response to intervention. I know you've already watched that video explaining what is response to intervention and what we do with it, but let's take a look at what we're going to be doing in this assignment. As you know, you've already looked at that Iris Center case packet. We've gone through that in the directions on how to do response to intervention and how to monitor data already. But the case study you're going to be doing and presenting to me is Level C Case 1 on Alejandro. And let's take a look at our scenario here. Alejandro is a second grade student in Miss Willoughby's class. Because Alejandro scored below the benchmark on the universal screening, Miss Willoughby has been monitoring his reading performance using the Vanderbilt Passage Reading Fluency Probe for the last 6 weeks. At this point, Miss Willoughby has collected 6 weeks of progress monitoring data and has just administered the last probe. Once she scored it and has graphed all 7 weeks of data, she will need to determine whether Alejandro is making adequate progress in the general education classroom, i.e. that Tier 1 of instruction. In addition, she has scheduled a meeting with Alejandro's parents to discuss his progress and would like to illustrate his performance with his progress monitoring graph. So remember how we score words that he missed and then where he stopped, figuring out how many he had done. And as you'll notice, they put in here a little reminder on how to score this in particular. And then we've got his chart here on what Alejandro has done so far for each of those weeks. So let's take a look at what you're going to be doing. Right here are the directions for the assignment, which you can find in the assignment itself and also in the folder at the top of the course page. So students will complete Level C Case 1 analysis from the Iris Center. This is located on course pages. I already showed you what it looks like in taking a look at Alejandro. So what you're going to be doing here is you've read the scenario and the corresponding student evaluation documentation, and then what you're going to do is you're going to score the last probe. Now, there's a graph already included in the Iris study, which you can utilize and then either snap that to include it into the assignment. I'll show you that in just a minute. Or you can create your own graph if you so choose. So what you want to do is you want to graph all 7 data points using the graph paper, the 6 previous, plus using the scores from that newest evaluation. You want to plot the benchmark for week 7, and then you want to create a goal line for Alejandro on that graph. Now, if you don't remember how to do that, please go back and watch the other video explaining RTI and how to establish goal lines and for students. Then you want to decide whether Alejandro is meeting the established goal. Is he responding adequately to the general education in that Tier 1? And you want to do this in about 5 to 7 sentences. And then last thing you want to do is describe what you would discuss with Alejandro's parents when you meet. You can list at least 3 points that the teacher should bring up and provide a rationale and explanation for each. This last section should be approximately 3/4 to 1 page long, and you will complete this in APA format using headers, and you're going to submit it through the course page. Now, when you are doing this, this is the rubric you're going to be graded on. So, and I'm going to be focusing particular on the exceptional because I know that's what y'all strive for, and I know that's what I'm going to see on the work I'm grading. So let's look at the exceptional here. So the first thing we're looking for is the probe, graph, and data. So did you correctly score the last probe and correctly graph all 7 data points using the graph paper? If you did, you're looking at a 15. Week 7 benchmark and goal line. Did you correctly plot the benchmark for week 7 and create the correct goal line on the graph? If you do, that's another 15 points. Then when it comes to meeting the goals, did you fully explain whether Alejandro was meeting the established goal? In other words, is he responding adequately to the general education in 5 to 7 sentences? Reasoning was fully explained using the graph. And so you're telling me here, if he's responding, explain why he's responding. How do you know? If he's not responding, how do you know? So you need to be able to justify your rationale. Then your parent discussion. And this can be done different ways. I've seen students do this multiple ways. Some students have even set it up as almost like a play with teacher giving her comment, the parent giving their comment, teacher giving their comment, parent giving their comment. Other people have set it up in a paragraph. This you can be a little bit creative if you'd like to, and you want to create that scenario. So during this discussion, you need to fully describe what was going to be discussed with the parents. And at least 3 points are explained that the teacher should bring up during the meeting, and a rationale is provided for each. If you look in the IRIS case study, they go through what points you should always talk about to parents. So make sure you're utilizing that help there to get you through this. You need to explain the current level of services to the parents and then talk about future changes based on his probe. And you've got to really explain to the parents. And you constantly have to go back to that graph during the conversation. Remember, you might have heard the saying, a picture's worth 1,000 words. That's why your graph is so vitally important. So you're always referring back to the graph to show the parents. The final thing that we're going to look at is you're properly using APA, formatting, grammar, usage, punctuation to express thoughts with one or fewer mistakes. Let's take a look at what the paper will look like. So as usual, I've provided you with the template already, so that'll help you with the APA formatting, because I know sometimes that can be difficult. So you'll see here your title page. Please do me a favor and make sure you replace student name with your name. You would not believe how many times I've had students leave that blank. Additionally, please replace month, day, and year with the month, day, and year you're submitting it. So when we scroll down here, the first section, the first header is your completed probe. So what you want to do is insert the scored completed probe with all 7 data points graphed. Be sure you have plotted the benchmark for week 7 and created a goal line for Alejandro. You can either screenshot that graph and upload it that way, or you can import a graph you've created, but you just want the graph right here. Next is your analysis section. Here, you need to decide whether Alejandro is meeting the established goals. Is he responding adequately to general education in 5 to 7 sentences? And if he's not responding, explain to me why. Be sure to explain your reasoning by referring back to the graph. So again, you'll notice we're constantly utilizing the graph. And then our parent meeting. Describe what you would discuss with Alejandro's parents when you meet. At least 3 points the teacher should bring up, and provide a rationale and explanation for each. Make sure you explain his current level of services. That's going to be one of those 3 points, hint, hint. And what would or would not change based on the trend in his probe. The last section, this section here, should be approximately 3/4 to 1 page long. Again, be sure to refer to the graph and ideas included in the case study during your conversation. And as always, make sure you are citing your sources. And I've already included your reference page for you with this progress monitoring in it. If you have any questions, just reach out to me and I'll be sure to answer them for you.